Jeff, here we are again. I think wrapping up like my goodness, fourth year of doing these. And this time of year is always really good for reflection. I was actually talking to my boss last week about, how we like to how spend that end time of the year just reflecting and recharging and just thinking about the year. Especially doing what we do. Sometimes it's just fast and furious. You're always running and gunning and when you hit roadblocks or challenges, it's easy to get stuck in that and just kind of get frustrated. End of year, it's a mad dash to the finish, but I think it's important to take stock in the great things that are happening and the great things that have happened this year. So wanted to spend some time today just kind of talking about the year in review. So why don't you tell us, what are some of the highlights personally and professionally that you want to share with our audience today?
Sure. Well, I feel underdressed because you're in a lovely Christmas sweater. I'm just wearing like my Princeton Wrestling, janky t-shirt here. But
I had to go to my kid's holiday party, so I had to be festive. And to my credit, I didn't own any ugly sweaters. Last year I had to get one because we had to do one with work, so it's the only one I own. So
I like it. It's a nice tie. I like
thank
the
you.
little elves walking
Yeah,
around there. It's pretty cool.
Abbey Road.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, this was a pretty very busy year for me, as I'm sure it was for most folks. A lot of different milestones and things that I'm proud of. For improvement and things that I learned, which is always a positive if you look at it the right way. I started the year publishing my second book, How Boys Learn, which was a set of short stories. So I was really excited about that. That was a goal of mine, was to get some work out there that was more, personal and not necessarily business related. I also started my new job at Allware back in January as well, and this was after the company I was at previously was acquired by Moody's Analytics, and so got a new start in a new field and a new hired out most of our sales organization. We've seen really tremendous growth at Allware over the last year, so I'm really pumped about that. It's been a really good journey. Um, what else? Over the summer, the Boston Celtics won the NBA championship, their 18th, which is the most in the NBA, especially if you exclude the Mickey Mouse championship that the Lakers won during the COVID bubble thing a few years ago. So that
You're
was
not
definitely
bitter.
good. No, not at all. So that was cool. Got to go to the parade, which was great. My wife and I, we moved. We bought a new place in the suburbs. So that was really exciting. And then I ran the Chicago Marathon in October. So that took a lot of work, as you can imagine, about 4 to 5 months of training and getting ready for that. I would say the highlight of my year, though, if the thing I'm most proud of, I think is I technically became a father last year in November at the end of the year. But I feel like I really became a dad, this year. I think this is where I really like started to learn how to be a father and, um, you know, watching my daughter grow up over the last 12 months. And, now that she's running around and, screaming and talking and waving hello and goodbye and doing all sorts of cute things. That's probably been, well, not probably, it's definitely by far the most joy that I've had this year. The number one thing that I care about and that I value. And I would say looking into next year, that's going to remain my top priority, is making sure that I'm the best parent that I can be. And then beyond that, I think that what we did at Allware this year was really great, and that we can, I hope I have an opportunity to do some great things for the business next year, and that we can really capitalize off of the year we had and build upon it next year. So those are the highlights for me. Would love to hear yours. I know there's a few good ones that I'm aware of. Maybe some others I don't know about. So let's hear about yours.
Yeah, man, it was a good year. And congratulations on all your success. It's awesome. I know you said this on a previous episode, but like it's legit that like Jeff and I are like real friends and we talk and text and keep apprised of each other and just I've loved watching your journey and supporting your marathon runs and also just your career. I think you've done some awesome things. So congrats on the success. This year's
Thank
been
you.
interesting, man. It's been it's been a lot of ups and downs. My wife and I were talking about this recently, and it's like, it's been really challenging. But a lot of greatness amidst it. It's like, my wife and I went to the Super Bowl this year, and unfortunately, my 49ers were denied their first win in 30 years, but her Chiefs won. So, rah rah, happy wife, happy life, right? So we'll live on. But and we went to some cool concerts. In fact, last night we were front row at Justin Timberlake. We saw
Wow.
the Eagles. Yeah, so fun stuff. We had some fun. We went on a couple really great trips on a cruise and to Florida and took the kids, which was amazing. Being a dad, being a husband, I mean, these are the most rewarding blessings that I get, and it's why I work as hard as I work. So a lot of fun stuff. I was also very well traveled this year. Got to go to New York City for the first time in forever. Got to go to Phoenix for the first time in forever. Saw my aunt for the first time in like 8 years. So just really cool stuff. And when I go places, like I went to San Diego for the first time in a long time. I like to go to all these like fun movie uh, themed places. So I went to like the TGI Fridays where they filmed the movie Cocktail. I went to the Firehouse where they filmed Ghostbusters, the restaurant from Seinfeld, all kinds of little fun stuff. But I managed to incorporate it into my job. This was my first full year leading the Americas team for Microsoft's nonprofit business, and it's been incredible. Like just the opportunity to meet with some of these executives, and I was recruited to help them build more of a sales process within, because every dollar that the group realizes is more investment dollars that we can invest into the nonprofit sector. So it's very fulfilling and very rewarding. Um, it's been fun. Had a lot of fun working with that team. My fifth book, The Show Must Go On, was published. I got a new car, an Aston Martin DB9, so I'm pretty happy about that. Um, the I guess the other big stuff that I would share is that the man, what was the other big one I wanted to share? It was my best year ever from a revenue and results perspective at work, which is saying something. Considering I've
Well,
worked
kind
in
of
the inter.
buried the lead there, Carson. I mean, come on, that should be. It's got to be like top of the list.
No, I always like to lead with. I always like to have the best say for last, right?
All
So,
right.
I like to bookend it well. Talk about my family first because they're the most important, but then to finish with like the cherry on top is it was like the best results here I've ever had, which is crazy. Because I've been in the commercial business, the enterprise business, and been very successful. But it was the best year I'd ever had from a results perspective. So really happy with that. And when I think about the team that I get to work with, some of the people that was able to hire this year that are doing really, really well. Hitting these objectives and these numbers, but also some of the new relationships that we've been able to generate. I mean, we've generated over 80 net new C-level, board level relationships in some of these nonprofits that we've never had before. And to be able to bring them value, help them on projects or on data and analytics that can help them serve their constituents and their communities better. It's so fulfilling and rewarding to be like even just a tiny cog in the wheel of some of the success of these nonprofits. So all up, when I look at 2024, a lot of chaos, a lot of challenges, but overall just a lot of good. So very grateful, very blessed, and can't wait to come back and do it again in 2025.
Congrats. Yeah, that's a lot of great stuff in there. Um, Jealous about the concerts too. That sounds pretty fun. I'm going to see Oasis next year,
Ooh,
so I'm excited about that.
that'll be a good show.
Yeah.
Some of my it's funny. I was talking to my wife yesterday when I was young and broke. Yeah, used to have to sit in the rafters with like Paul McCartney and U2 and some of the big concerts that I loved as a kid. But it's kind of nice now to be able to use those sales commissions to take my wife to, JT had to basically step over us to get to the microphone a couple of times, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah, totally.
All right, well, hey, that's a wrap on 2024, and we'll be back together again. Probably wearing different normal clothes here in a couple weeks in January. So to everybody out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year.
Awesome. Thanks, Carson. We'll see you in 25.
See you in 25.